This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Jim Schaller.
Welcome, good neighbors, to episode number 58 of the Good Neighbor Podcast Estero. Today we have good neighbor Rick Jacobs from 4Kids, Southwest Florida, joining us. Rick, welcome.
Thank you. Good to be with you.
Yeah, good to get to know people in the neighborhood and understand their stories a little bit better. So why don't we just jump right in, and why don't you share a little bit about what you guys do at 4Kids, Southwest Florida?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. We are a foster care organization. That's the backbone of what we do. So we recruit families, we train them, we license them in partnership with DCF, the Department of Children and Families, and then we just provide amazing support to our families once they have kids placed in their homes.
That is great. That's much needed in the neighborhood since it's growing so much and things are changing. How did you get involved with 4Kids?
Yeah, I've been a foster parent for many years. I was actually a 4Kids foster parent myself when we lived on the East Coast, and that's where 4Kids was launched about 26 years ago. And so back really dating back to about 2019, got to know some of their leadership well, and then fast forward to 2021, they were launching this expansion to Southwest Florida. My family and I had lived here previously, and so we were a good candidate to kind of lead the charge and to develop a team over here to just expand what we were seeing success with on the East Coast and bring it to an area that so desperately needed it as well. So
that is great. So you're from Florida originally then?
I am. I'm a native Floridian. I was born in the Fort Lauderdale area, and so there's not too many of us around, but I actually have children that are third generation Floridians.
Wow, that is crazy. I know nowadays people grow up and they want to get out of Florida, and myself, I'm from Wisconsin. I wanted to get to Florida, so it's it's a lot different. So are there any, well, I guess let me back up a little bit. We've all endured some type of, I want to say maybe hardship or maybe challenge along our journey that's maybe defined us and put us in a better place. Is there something that happened along your journey that maybe you look back and you go, you know what, I'm glad I went through that because I'm in a better place now?
Yeah, I mean, there's probably a few things that I could highlight, because we all, like you said, we all have our struggles and our trials along the way, but really related to our foster care journey is one that, we at one point in our journey, like I said, we've been in this world since 2007 as foster parents. We've seen really over 30 kids come in and out of our home. And sometimes, you hear from folks, how could you ever do that? I would get too attached. I could never let them go, and we want foster parents to get attached. And so when it comes to hardship in our own life, we had a situation where at one point we were actually doing something a little outside of foster care, but very similar. And we were hosting a little boy that was born in Haiti. And so we were just kind of a medical host family for him several years ago, and really had our heart set on the potential to adopt him. But in that scenario, it just didn't play out that way. And after, almost 2 years in our home, we had to say goodbye to him. And so it was heart-wrenching, for me, for my wife, for our 4 kids at the time. So we know what it's like to have to say goodbye. And so that was definitely a challenge, but it helps us to speak into that with our current families that are stepping into this space. They understand or need to understand that the kids that we foster, we're just a temporary solution. Some of those kids don't end up going back home, but about 60% of our kids end up going back home or to a family member. So we have to kind of steel ourselves for that.
And that is great. That is, like you said, you're putting your heart and soul into helping these kids, and it's in some sense they are becoming part of your family, and always will be. That doesn't mean they don't have other families moving forward, but you always have that connection with them. Are there Are there any myths or maybe misconceptions around what you guys do that we can maybe clear up for our listeners?
Um, so yeah, one of the myths that we encounter is that foster care is not an issue right here in Southwest Florida. A lot of times people will believe that it's only an issue for some of the big cities, that we hear. But we know that in our area, we had 521 kids that were removed from their families last year and that were placed into foster care. And so it is an issue right here. Another one of the myths is that foster parents sometimes get in this only to, that we're trying to take people's kids away. We don't do that, right? The officials are the ones that determine, there was abuse, abandonment, neglect that were evident in someone's home, unfortunately, and that child gets removed. And the foster parents are just the ones that are stepping in for a season to say, hey, we want to care for these kids while we can and give them some love and some stability while hopefully their parents are working on their plan.
That's wonderful. It's great to have people like you in the community doing such great work. Now, I know what you do is demanding, and obviously, fostering kids. What you do outside of work, with the family or yourself that you enjoy doing?
Yeah, a lot of what we do is centered around our children. We have 7 kids of our own right now.
Wow.
So we have 28, 26, 22, 16, 4, 1. Those are our 6 kids of our own. And
wow.
Then we have a foster placement right now, a little girl that's with us that's about 8 months old. So we stay busy with our kids. And so a lot of what we do centers around them. Obviously, they're not all at home, but having like a second phase, when you've got a 28-year-old, but you also have a 1-year-old at home, that's a little different for life. So a lot of what we do centers around that. And we love that, though. We're called to this and we love doing that. So we love doing things with our kids. We love if we get the opportunity to take a trip to Orlando and, or, those types of things. My wife and I love to travel, although, that doesn't happen a whole lot on our own anymore. But we love to visit cities and, experience new places. But yeah,
that's great. Yeah, it definitely keeps you busy with the wide range of kids at home. But it's nice, a full house, full heart. That's what it's all
right.
about. Having people around you, which is great. So, is there maybe one thing that you would like our listeners to know about 4 kids that maybe they don't know or they should know?
Well, I mean, we would love to introduce folks to what we do. Like we focus on hope, homes, and healing here. And the hope is a prevention initiative. So we put a lot of effort, a lot of organizational dollars into prevention. We believe that if we can keep a child from coming into foster care, then that's a huge win. And so we partner with another organization called Care Portal, and it's just a prevention technology that helps us to resource families in our community. And so we're seeing amazing outcomes from that right here in Southwest Florida and across the regions where 4 kids serve. And so hope is an important component. Homes is really obvious. We want a home for every child that comes into care. Right now, there aren't enough homes in Southwest Florida. And so we are working diligently to try to solve that crisis. And then healing. We offer trauma-informed therapy for all the kids that come into care. So for that child that's been living through trauma, and then also a foster parent that's having to now help raise a child that's been through trauma, we want to equip them. And so we have licensed therapists that pour into those kids and help them understand and walk through and try to experience some healing from what they've experienced in their life. So that's really who we are at 4 Kids. We love for people to come by and stop at our office and do a quick vision tour to see, we have 2 amazing play therapy rooms for children here. And we just love to expose people to what's going on in the community so that they can be a part of helping us with the solution.
I love it. And, I hope doing this, we can share more with the community and get the word out there. How would our listeners go about getting a hold of you if they wanted more information or they were looking at fostering themselves?
Yeah, definitely. They can give us a call. I don't mind passing out my cell phone number, which is 239-565-6520. or they can also email us. It's info@4kidsswfl.org. So it's info at the number 4, KIDS, SWFL.org. And so we'd love to have a little vision tour. Let them come by and see what we're all about.
Perfect. Rick, thank you first of all, thank you for what you do in the community. It's remarkable, the work you do and the people you help out. So thank you for being on today. And I hope to see you out in the community here soon.
Awesome. Thank you for the time.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast Estero. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpestero.com. That's gnpestero.com or call 239-296-2621.